get all set up. See who's in the building. Give me a thumbs up if anybody in there can hear me. Make sure we got this thing, the audio going right. Or hit the little hearts to the side there if you can hear me. Terry Peat. There we go. Just popping in. See Terry Peat's in the building. What's going on, my brother? Let's see who is. Official Jamila. What's going on? Glad to see you in here. Good evening. Yeah, hit those little hearts over there on the side because that's how you drive and get people to coming into the live. Hit those little hearts over there on the side. Let's get it jumping just from the beginning. Appreciate y'all. How y'all doing today? Let a few people get in here. This is Jamila Lewis. What's going on? She says, good evening. Good evening to you. Cash Flow. Cash Flow say, we can hear you. All right. Appreciate that. Right. What is that? Tam Lamb Jeanette, Texas. I think that's what it is. What's up? Forest, what's going on? Yes, sir. We can hear you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Oh man, this has been a beautiful day here in Georgia. I'm gonna just pan around the garden a little bit, let y'all see how things are waking up out here. Now tell me that sun going down right there isn't beautiful. That sun setting over there, but the garden is coming to life. We've been getting a lot of rain these past few days, so what I'm gonna be doing is I'm gonna harvest some things today. Just pull them off because, of course, your tomatoes are gonna start cracking to get too much of the water in it. But for the most part, the garden is coming to life. I just wanted to share that with you guys. And we're going to be talking tonight about how to treat for all this rain that we're having right now. And I know powdery mildew, I saw a couple of gardeners already talking about the powdery mildew that they're experiencing. And once again, that is why I leave those Heshiko onions out. Those bees are working. Yeah, I'm disturbing them. You see, she took off and then landed back. See that bee on there? Now, my leeks have gone to seed, and my leeks look like little fire starters over there. So, let's see who else coming up in here. Let me see you down here and speak to the chat. GLB, I don't know what that. Lord Parks, what's going on? Hello, everyone from Indiana. Carol Hemrick says, hi, I sent you a note about the best blueberry bush to buy. Not sure if you saw it. Pink lemonade and one more. Okay. GA Trucker Cat, what's going on, man? I appreciate you for coming in. She says so pretty. Um, paddling. I think that's what kind of garden netting is that? She said, what kind of garden netting is that? Those are the 3 zippers. The only I think I'm the only vendor right now that has that. That's my own personal patent that I have on those 3 zippers. And I'll go over there and walk over and let you see them. Basically, for convenience, allows you to get to your bush and not have to worry about those big old berries on there. You don't have to worry about the birds getting to your bush, and then you can harvest from 3 different locations. You got one zipper there, you got another zipper here, and then you come on this side and there's another zipper there. Now, whoever growing those pink lemonades, I think I might have the largest pink lemonade berries that I've ever had this year. Those things are huge. That's my pink lemonades there. This is my Northland here. But I want to show you guys, this is what I really wanted to show you. I'll come over here and let you see these. I tested the bricks on these the other day. There's a sweetheart here. That's a sweetheart. That's a sweetheart. That's a sweetheart. That's a sweetheart. Those berries are huge. I mean, they are super huge. This is that's a O'Neill. That's a Georgia Gem. That I'm not sure what it is. I bought it as a Georgia Gem, but it's not a Georgia Gem. This is a Northland. She's got some huge berries on it. That is a, what is that? That's a Biloxi. This is a Legacy. She has lots of mid-sized berries. This is a Brightwell. Brightwell is a heavy producer. That's a Sharp Blue. She is a real stout, but good-sized berries on her. This is a Chandler. Now, they say the Chandler has the largest berries, but my sweetheart and my Northland is kicking the Chandlers behind right now. Chandler's got quite a few berries on them, but she ain't keeping up. And these right here are grown from seed. So I only have one that has berries on it right here. But I'm gonna show you guys I'm gonna pick off some of those berries over there, but they are huge. The squash cage. Everybody's asking about the squash cage. Squash cage is coming along amazing. These are peanuts right here. I'm just kind of rambling on right now until we get a few people in the room. But I'm gonna let y'all see what's going on in the squash cage here. I've been so busy, I haven't had a chance to really put everything out. So, but I just want you to, I mean, I'm loving this whole little setup right here. Look how happy she is up in here. Yes, man. Got some zooks coming in. So I do all my stuff at succession planting. I never plant them all at once, and I'm going to grow these vertical. So they'll go up these, and then there's one that just popped up right there. That's something that Miss Linda sent me. That's what she call it, a mashed potato squash. So I'm gonna let that mashed potato squash grow up here, and then grow around the top. So she'll be on the north side, so she won't block anything out. That's Mike's Chaotic Gardening there. That's a Georgia candy roaster. She's starting to get a little color in her. I hit her with a little bit of that fulvic acid. These are some more of my candy roasters. I just sat down here because I'll probably give them away. And I'm gonna let the candy roaster sprawl down the ground. I'm gonna let it grow on the ground this year on the mulch, since I don't have to worry about the squash vine borer anymore because I got everything in a cage. And over here, these are yellow straight necks here. So that would mean the candy roaster is going to travel down. The yellow long neck is going to go up that, and I'm going to run it up that. And then that'll give room for that candy roaster to basically travel this whole way. So the weight of those squash are not going to be an issue this year. But look how dark and green that is. And I'm telling you, people, I have put no outside fertilizer on these plants this year. Everything came from this garden. Those plant juices, fermented plant juices, my comfrey, my alfalfa, all of those things there. Everything around here, I just want you to see the colors on everything. This is a dark opal basil. Look how beautiful she is. This is my black cherry tomato, and she's fine putting on some flowers right now. She likes that heat, so she's not gonna do anything till that heat comes in. I don't know what that is. That's one of my volunteers. I love volunteers. I don't care what it is. If it's a pepper and it comes up on its own, I'm gonna let her live. This is a golden, I don't even know what that is, tell you the truth. Most of this stuff I let come up on its own. It volunteers. Uh, some African marigolds there. Vapes kale. How beautiful that baby is. Vapes kale. Nice and crunchy. Got another straight neck there. That's another black cherry tomato. And I'm gonna see if anybody could tell me what this is right here. And this is a dynamic accumulator for silica. If you want something to put on your squash and on your cucumber plants, you make a tea with this. I'm gonna see if anybody knows what it is. You make a tea with this, and it hardens the cuticles on your leaves. You spray it on your leaves along with that fulvic acid extract, and it helps out. It's a Everest grapevine here that we got growing up our Chase Lounge. That's gonna be nice when it comes in. Over here, got grapes going on. These are Mars grapes here, and I'm doing training this one here. So she's just now going up the thing here, but this is the grapevine trellis. We finally got it up and running. So I'll be posting a video of how I built the whole thing. You guys saw me planning this last year, and now I'm doing the training. I'm going to go ahead and propagate those ends right there. So that's why I haven't taken those off. And once I take those off, that vine is going to take off and it's going to run up there. Got some navy beans coming up right here. If anybody can make a suggestion on what I should have in this area right here. I've just put these navy beans in about a week ago. Going to have a floating trellis right here so the navy beans can climb up on it, and I got the same thing on the other side. But if anybody got any suggestions as to what I could plant in this area right here, that would be highly appreciated. We're just walking around and just showing you guys. Like I said, we've been getting a lot of rain, and you know how grapevines are with rain. But look at how healthy these grapevines are. You don't see any of those leaf spots. See how dark that foliage is and how thick it is? That's from spraying that particular plant that I just showed you guys on it. These leaves are really thick right now, and it makes it harder for leaf chewing insects to penetrate them. So that's what I'm doing with that. In other words, building the cuticles up on the plants. Even this is a Marglobe tomato. Got a few little spots right there, but we're gonna be dealing with that because what we do is we just take those off. That's how simple that is. We constantly pruning. That's what you want to do. But we got some fruit down there on the bottom. We've been harvesting already before we came out. And these are those big babies here. Oh yeah, and nothing bashful about these. Those are sequoias, or as they call them, California giants. I get probably a bowl of these off a day. California giants. Yep. This is my own little personal, and we're gonna have this now. How many people would love to see this on growingoutthebox.com? So I'm having this made so we can be selling these on growingoutthebox.com, and this strawberry planter. So it's not going to be identical to this, but it's going to be based upon that. So we're having that done now. And we also have some raised beds that we're developing that's slightly different than everybody else's. Again, going back to these strawberries, huge babies, huge, yeah, huge. Propagating some of them, all of them are huge. These are what they call California giants. We go to the other side there because I got some more hanging out on the other side. Oh yeah, I didn't even see all these. Look at that. And now the best part about this little planter here is like you can sit them out and let them sunbathe, and that's where they take on that color. Once they come off of the vine a little bit, that vine stretches out, you just sit them out on the ledge and let them sunbathe. And why the birds are not bothering it? Because we got hootie hoo. Oh yeah, hootie hoo's on the job. And then we got another hootie hoo on the other side, and we move them around the garden. Look at this baby here, she's huge. Oh yeah. And then you got some that's falling in there. that can't reach the edge. They're ready to come off though. Yeah. These are sequoias, or as you see them in the grocery stores, they're known as California giants. Turn this camera around and chat with you guys. All right. Yeah, those are my California giants. I got those a year and a half ago, and they're just not starting to come in for me. The blackberries are going crazy. Yeah. So we had to bring the owls out. We got another owl over here on top. We got another owl sitting up there. They got the little wobble heads on them, and we move them around. I move them from there, put them over where the seating area is. I'll move that one from that end of the planter over to that end of the planter. Those are my obelisks. We're going to have these on growingoutthebox.com also. So we're having these put together. I get so many questions about how to build those. So I'm going to show you guys how to build them. And we're also going to have them for sale if you want to buy one. So those are what are called an obelisk. Blackberries going crazy. Yeah, they going crazy. They're just falling on the ground. There's so many of them. And we come out and we're harvesting every day, but it becomes a job. My son made some blackberry ice cream the other day. Look at that. I mean, it's just crazy. So if you're growing blackberries, this is one of the things I try to tell you. It's only 3 blackberries in this bed, and that's a 12-foot bed. And you see how big that's gotten. Those are blackberries there. Got my dwarf Orinoco banana here, and she's got pups. She's got to come out of that. And we're gonna put her I'm not gonna say in the ground, but we got a pool that we're gonna put her in so she can get to that water because she loves water. She does probably a gallon, 2 gallons of water a day. So you can see that at the bottom down here, I got that filled to where it traps the water, and she drinks that up a day. I can fill that up every day. That'll be empty every day. So she's got those pups in there. It's time to go ahead and separate. She's gonna have to come out of there. But she should fruit this year. She's 16 months old. So she should fruit this year if we can give her the right conditions. And we're gonna give her the right conditions. Come out here. The echinacea is coming to life. Look how beautiful that is. Purpurea. That's the echinacea. We got the white echinacea as well. And there's some more Marglobes. I love the Marglobes. They're determinants. And they'll put off a whole lot. So I plant those in succession. I got 10 more that I'm going to put out. And they're going to go back there in that bed there and that bed over there. Some more. Now these are black pepper, a black pepper vine. It's my first time growing this. She was struggling in the beginning, dropped some leaves, but she's putting on some new leaves. I got to put some wood over here for her to grab a hold to it because she's not going to grab a hold to this. She pretty much climbs like ivy. You know how ivy attaches to wood? That's how the black pepper vine travels. So I got to put a piece of wood stake in the ground here to let her travel up because she's not going to really start growing until she has something to grab to. Same thing on this one. She was looking bad, but you see on the tip, she's starting to put on some new growth. So she's at home now. The Marglobe. And those are my plums out there. The figs are going to go crazy this year. This is a brown turkey fig. Yes, sir. She is loaded down. And she bounced back even after that freeze that we had and still giving it to them. Look how dark those leaves are. Same thing. That's that fulvic acid extract that I'm putting on these things. Now, you can have a little gloss. You see the little gloss to it? That's what keeps. And you got to think this is the time of the year for that, the Japanese beetle. And they love eating on this plant. But since I've been putting that fulvic acid on it, you see that little sheen that's on there, that gloss? that is not going to wash off. That's part of the plant now. You see how shiny these leaves are? That's the health of that plant. And that's that fulvic acid extract that I'm putting on there. Even with the sweet potatoes, you know, the Japanese beetle love these sweet potatoes. I've sprayed them one time with the fulvic acid, and it's time to do it again. So you can see some of the leaves got a little shine to them, but I'm gonna go back and do it again because the thing you want to get under the bottom. That's where the stomata is. So got a black mission. There's a black mission out there. That's my beautiful rosemary. She just love it back here where nobody really bothers her. It's my rosemary. She flowered for the first time last year. Buddha, Miss Buddha. It's my other rosemary here. They love it over here in this little dry spot. I got sand in this area right here. So she loves this little sandy area. That's my rosemary. But we're going to chop it up, and I want to show you guys something too. With all this rain, right? I don't know if this just, so these are to some of the tomatoes I just took off. But you want to take those tomatoes off before they ripen all the way. See how beautiful that is? See that gloss on there? That's a thick skin. That's from that fulvic acid that we put on it. Again, all of these, thick skin. How shiny that is. Somebody say you can't grow organically, can't make your fruit look just as good as they do in the grocery stores. Tell me that don't look as good as anything you see in the grocery store. These are Marglobes. Now, I'm going to show you something you're going to be like, oh my God. Look at this thing. I'm going to cut this off. Let me go get my clippers because that's got to come off anyway. That's way past harvest time. I'm going to take y'all in and let y'all see me cut this if I can see it. Now, this is, look at this thing. That's a black beauty, baby. Oh my God. This, man, this is crazy. That's a black beauty. Yep. That's going to be eggplant lasagna right there. There's another one coming in down there on the bottom. She about ready too. I think I'll take her off. I'll probably take her off, give her another day or two. They'll swell up in a few days. Look how shiny she is. Oh yeah, black beauty. Some more dark opal basil mixed up in there. And the same thing, you know how that Japanese, the flea beetles tend to eat up your eggplant? I've been using that horsetail. I've been spraying horsetail tea on these to harden up these leaves to keep the flea beetles from getting to them. And it looks like it's working a little bit because usually I have potholes all in my, I usually have potholes all in them, and it's not as bad this year. So I'm going to spray them again. I sprayed them last week, and I'm going to spray them again every 7 days. And that's the horsetail, that field horsetail that I'm spraying on that, as well as that water horsetail. So we're going to come back to the chat. Chop it up with y'all a little bit. All right. Now, I just want y'all to see this. I mean, I can't make this up. I can't make this up. This is an eggplant. This is a black beauty eggplant. These are grown from my seeds that I've had in this garden for the past 4 years. This is a black beauty eggplant. Look at my head and look at this eggplant. She got a little give to her. You know, you press her in, she got a little give to her. She's got that sheen on her, that nice shine. You see that shine gloss? This is a super healthy eggplant. This is what we're getting off over here, man, and nothing out of a bag. I'm trying to tell you, nothing out of a bag. That's what we're doing. Got our string beans. It's time to start harvesting some string beans. So we'll have a meal. We got a meal going on already. These are jade beans. No, what are these? These are jade beans. Yeah, yeah, these are jade beans here. Beautiful, slender, good for sauteing. Beautiful. And I tell you what I discovered, right? If you guys didn't know, gypsum. Gypsum. That's what I've been putting on the soil over here. Gypsum. They love that calcium and they love that sulfur. Most people think gypsum is for, like breaking up the hard clay. And I was using it to do that because all my garden's on clay. I'm in Georgia zone 8A. But I've been using gypsum over on my peanuts. And I noticed that the peanuts were looking different this year. So I started putting the gypsum on different plants. Gypsum, something that we don't even think about as an additive to our garden because most people think of it as a way uh, to break up the clay particles in the soil. But gypsum is a calcium sulfate. These plants love calcium. Look how green those leaves are. They love calcium. We don't have to do any nitrogen on them. So with the calcium sulfate, the calcium and the sulfur in there, oh, they're going wild. Beautiful. No insect pressure. This is what we're talking about. Just trying different things, just seeing what works and what doesn't work. Um, it's just fascinating to me when I look around and just see like the little simple things that we're doing that makes a big difference and it's costing us zero, nothing. So let me get down here to the chat and I'm gonna take y'all over here and I'm gonna show y'all some stuff that I'm working on because we were talking about powdery mildew. Um, let's see here. These I just started spraying. I've hit them one time and man, the crazy part about this is I got more female fruit on here than I've ever seen before. I mean, it's like every node has female fruit on it. It's just coming off everywhere. And the turga, again, this is that horsetail. If you guys are, and now horsetail is not nothing to play with. It's not for the lazy gardener. Horsetail will get away from you. It is very invasive. So you have to make sure that you keep it in a container. Horsetail, that's what I've been spraying on there. You hear that little rough sound on there? That's from that horsetail taking on the silica. And that horsetail is like, I think it's 20% silica that it has in it. But that's what I've been spraying on these. And what I'm hoping is that it help against the squash vine borer as well, because I've been spraying it on the stems as well. This is Armenia cucumber here. And these are some super hot. You can think about, you can get up into the 100s. And this is what you want to be growing. Those market 76s and those straight eights, none of those things will compare to the Armenian cucumber when it comes down to handling that heat. So I'm setting the garden up for heat right now. Everything that I'm growing right now is geared towards going towards that heat. But banana peppers all ready to come off. Got some. It's we eating out here. I don't know any other way to say it. We eating over here. Even these little bitty plants. So many people tell you don't let your plants flower when they're that small. Look at this little bitty baby here, and look at what she got hanging on down there. That's a whole pepper. A whole pepper. She's got a couple of them on there. A little bitty plant producing like that. See that? Let's see if I can get you to look at that. The pepper is almost bigger than the plant. That's that fulvic acid. Now, I'm finna go over here and show y'all what I'm working with. Come back to the chat. So, let me catch up with y'all. Got a lot going on. Comfrey is going crazy over here. So I'm gonna come over here and sit the camera up. And I want to show y'all, I always talking about my fulvic acid. I'm gonna show you guys how to make this fulvic acid. All right. We're gonna talk about a little bit of the fulvic acid. Let me set this thing up. Let's see here. Okay, y'all go over and hit that like button now, you know, because that's what's gonna share the live out and get people to coming in. Let me go over and share that live out. Made by Tammy Sherrill. What's going on? She said the garden is looking dapper. Thank you, thank you. Um, Jackie Griffin, beautiful garden. Thank you, Jackie. Cash flow speaking to made by Tammy Sherrill. Um, this is Nick Gal. Nick Gal says, "Oh wow." Um, Angela Calloway, what's going on, my girl? Angela Calloway is in here. Seed of Life Gardening. Dang, blackberries. So I must be behind. All right, let me see here. Please like the video. Yeah, hit the little uh, things on the side over there. Now I'm gonna see, and I'm reading the chat now. So I'm going all the way to the bottom, and what I'm gonna do, because we're not gonna be in here that long. I'm not going to the lights out today. I hope not. But y'all already know how that goes. If y'all can, if y'all can see me now, I want to put a let's say everybody put a thumbs up in the chat. Like just put a thumbs up. I want to see if I'm up to speed with everybody. Everybody put a thumbs up in there so I can see, because I want to show y'all something that I want to make sure that I'm caught up. Okay, I see. All right, there we go. Unique's, what's going on, Unique's Garden? See you in here. Brian's Peat, made by Tammy. Okay, I got you. So Foxy Brown, what's up, Andrew? So this is what I want to do. Since I know we all caught up, I'm gonna see if anybody would happen to know what could this possibly be in this bottle right here. What could this possibly be in this bottle? Because when I talk about my fulvic acid, this is how it turns. That's this one phase of it. That's what it looks like before it turns to this. This is what I'm putting on my garden. This is fulvic acid extract. Now, how how is that possible that these are the same? It's the process, baby. It's the process. This is this minus something. This is humic and fulvic acid. This is fulvic acid. This is what we're doing over here. I'm going to show you guys how to make this, right? We're not going to show you how to make it tonight, but I'm going to tell you what you need to get started. The first thing you're going to need is some baking soda. Baking soda. Not baking powder. Baking soda. That's going to be the first thing that you're going to need. This is so simple to make. Again, I'm going to show it to you again. Fulvic acid. The pH on this is probably around a 4.2. You want to make sure that it's a 4.5 or lower. So I think the pH last time I checked, it was like a 4.2. I got about 5 or 6 of these bottles. I keep these coming. I keep making these because you never have enough. All it takes is a teaspoon to a gallon. 1 teaspoon to a gallon, you mix anything with it. This automatically, I don't know if you understand what chelate means. Chelate means to grab. When you think about on a molecular level, right? Things that are so small that not even a microscope would be able to see it. That's literally what this is. I call it raindrops in a bottle. Think about that. raindrops in a bottle. You see how green those squash plants were? You see how big those fruit are over there? Imagine being able to turn the rain on and getting the results of what happens when it rains. Raindrops in a bottle. That's what this does. It triggers the stomata to open on your plants. It triggers the soil flush, which means that the nutrients become available because the microbes in the soil are waking up by the moisture that this triggers. All of in a bottle, raindrops in a bottle. That's literally what this is. That's why these plants out here look the way that they do. No outside fertilizers this year. I got my alfalfa here, and you guys probably saw the little alfalfa video I put out the other day. I got my alfalfa growing there. I got comfrey growing right there. I got Mexican sunflower growing out there. And I'm going to just break it down. The comfrey is going to be for your potassium. That's going to be for your fruits, your fruit. It also has nitrogen and little trace minerals. The Mexican sunflower, that's going to be where you get your phosphorus from. We struggle sometimes to get phosphorus, but we really don't need a lot of phosphorus because phosphorus is not really mobile. It'll stay in your soil for a while. The problem is your plants aren't uptaking the phosphorus that's in the soil. But when you put this on it, it wakes everything up. It breaks every single nutrient that's in your soil and that you put in a bottle. Let's say, for example, if we put some fish hydrolysate with this, 1 teaspoon, and let's say a tablespoon of fish hydrolysate with this to a gallon of water, this automatically is uptaken to the stomata and goes directly to the leaves. Within 24 to 48 hours, you'll see a noticeable difference. 24 to 48 hours, a noticeable difference. You wonder why those strawberries look like that? The plants are all standing straight up. The reason why the insects are not attacking, that's the Brix level. That's sap, what they call simple sugars. That's what wheat plants have. And then you got complex sugars. Complex sugars is when the plant has lots of sap in it. And on my blueberries the other day, I got a 14.5. A 14.5 on my Brix, on that sweetheart that's on a 2-year-old bush in a pot. I'm going to drop the video on this because I was able to use my refractometer and show you guys as I was dropping the blueberry juice onto the refractometer, a 14.5. So somebody Google, what is a 14.5 Brix on a blueberry? That's almost excellent. I ain't quite there, but that's almost excellent. But I go back to it again. Fulvic acid. This is it right here. This is the secret. We go from this to this. Just a process. It's actually a chemical reaction that happens and it drops all of the black. When you get this, the black will be at the bottom of this thing when you do the process. All the humic acid, because that's what you're seeing suspended in here. That black in there, that's humic acid that's dictating the color. But when you put that last input, you crash that with an acidic, let's say a citric acid. Citric acid is something you guys need to get. Because I'm finna put you up on the game. They don't want you to know this. I'm gonna tell you right now, they don't want you to know this. Because once you learn this, and I know I kind of was a little bashful about how I was moving with the last video. I went kind of technical on you guys, and some of you, I think it kind of went over your head. But what I'm trying to do is get you guys to understand that just a little bit of work, just a little bit of work is going to make everything so much easier. We're trying so hard not to do the little work that we're making it so much harder to get the results that we really want out of our garden. Just a little work. So yeah, I intentionally went a little overboard with the last video. I want you guys to go back and look at that. And it's alfalfa in the garden, growing alfalfa in your garden. When you get a chance, go back and look at that video. because I'm giving you all the tools that you need to be able to grow anything that you want to grow right here in your garden. All the inputs coming right here in your garden. But you got to be willing to put the work in. I'm trying to explain to you guys what it is that I'm doing, why I'm doing it, and then I'm showing you the results. Strawberries the size of, plums. Strawberries the size of plums. Now, of course, it's the brand of the strawberry. It's a California giant or a sequoia, as we know it. The blackberries off the meter. Kale, no insect pressure. Collards over there, got a little pressure going on my collards, but you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna turn it up. I'm gonna hit them with that fulvic acid. What that's gonna do, that's gonna push the sugars up in those collards, and the insects do not like complex sugars. This is the key to it all. Once you learn how to do this, this is the key to it. Fulvic acid extract. Now you guys want to talk about powdery mildew? I done came out here and shook my milk up a little bit. But this is spoiled milk. And I'm gonna see if I can get that close enough to the camera where you can see the clear liquid up top. If y'all can see the clear liquid up top, put some thumbs up in the room or hit them hearts over there on the side. Get this thing jumping a little bit. We got 134 people in here. Let's see if we can get this thing going. All right, so they got that going. So this clear liquid that's in that spoiled milk, that's lactic acid bacteria. That's lactic acid bacteria. But let me show you, we can make that and we get super results when we make it. You can do this in 5 days. That's lactic acid serum. That's what that is, lactic acid serum. This is what I use to inoculate my fish hydrolysis. When I take my fish parts and make my own fish fertilizer, that's lactic acid serum. So what I got to do is I got to sift all of that stuff off the top, and that liquid on the bottom, that's gold right there. All of these inputs we're making in our garden. And what I'm trying to do is, I'm trying to share this with you guys, but when I get a video that I put so much energy in and so much information, and it's one of my worst performing videos, what's the point of me even putting the videos out? If I'm giving you all the information and you guys are not going to respond to it, hey, we might as well just, make videos like everybody else. So, what's up, G Mama Grows? What's up? What's up, G Mama? Now I know G Mama be interested because G Mama be about that life. She about that. She about that garden life. Fulvic and humic acid. That's what's in this bottle right here. Now I'm finna give y'all the secret. This is peat moss. Y'all wonder why I be fooling with that peat moss? Peat moss is one of the oldest substances on this earth. You can extract 30, anywhere from 15 to 30% of humic and fulvic acid from peat moss. Compost ain't gonna do it. Compost might give you 7 to maybe, 7%. If you get 7% of humic fulvic acid out of compost, you're doing pretty good. Peat moss is one of the oldest substances on this earth. This is what this is. It's derived from peat moss. It's a way that you trigger that, and it'll pull all the fulvic and humic acid out of that peat moss. Once you get that done there, that's suspension of the humic and fulvic acid, and that's in alkaline water. This pH in this is an 11. That's pretty much what they call lye soap. You remember how grandmama used to make the lye soap when we were growing up? This is what that is. If you take baking soda and you'll bake it for about, let's say you'll bake the baking soda 30 minutes at 400 degrees, that 10.0 of the baking soda goes up to an 11.5 or even a 12. That's how you boost that baking soda up to get that high pH, that 11 to a 12. You mix that with your peat moss, it'll pull the humic and fulvic acid out of your peat moss. And once you do that, you got your alkaline solution and then you crash it with an acidic mixture. And the acidic mixture that we add into it is citric acid. You could buy it anywhere. Everything organic. Citric acid. When you put citric acid in that bottle of that black liquid right there, it causes all of the humic acid to fall to the bottom. And you'll have all that black sludge on the bottom. And this is what's left over. That beautiful amber color right there, that is fulvic acid. And they charge you $40 to $50 for a bottle like this. Isn't that amazing? We done, we done broke the code. They done let the wrong one get the code, man. I'm giving it away. I'm gonna tell you just like that. I'm giving it away. That's what I'm doing. I'm giving it away. So my strawberry leaves got red tart. Why? Got red tint. That red tint's probably gonna be iron, maybe iron or magnesium deficiency. Baking soda and citric acid. Um, let's see, Bing peep. So bags of peat moss, baking soda, and citric acid. That's all you need. Baking soda. Now you're gonna have to bake the baking soda. You have to bake the baking soda on 400 degrees. Now, please wear a mask. Wear a mask and gloves because what you are creating is lye, and it will literally burn. It will literally burn you because that's the way. That's the only way you're gonna get that reaction out of this peat moss. You're gonna have that 11 pH. That's higher. If you take a regular baking soda and you put it into a glass, mix it up, you're probably gonna get somewhere around a 10.5 maybe on the pH. But if you bake that baking soda for 30 minutes at 400 degrees, it goes through a transformation and it'll boost that pH up 2 more points. So you're talking about 1,000 times more alkaline than what it was before. That's how you get that crash and pull that fulvic and humic acid out of that peat moss. Once you pull the humic and fulvic acid out, this is what it looks like. It's like dirt black. I mean pitch black. That's humic and fulvic acid in suspension. And once you add in that citric acid, and I'm going to show you guys how to do it because it's a process to it. So it's not just you just throw a spoonful in. It's a whole formula that I have, and I'm going to list the whole thing up on growingoutthebox.com. But once you put that citric acid in there and you give it about 5 days and you come back to it, this is what it looks like. Now, I've already sifted out the black sludge because it'll be like a black sludge at the bottom. And what you want to do is, I know every time you see me come out, I have like these old shirts or something. You always want to keep this stuff in the dark. You never want to expose it to light. All of it. Even when you start to do your humic and fulvic acid, I take old t-shirts or old towels and I just drape it over it. It stays in the dark. That's what you want it to do. That's how you preserve it. And this will last for as long as you use it. So I tend to make mine over and over. Some tools that I use, and you saw me use it if you watched the video that I just did with my alfalfa. This is another tool that you're gonna need because this removes the chlorine and chloramine out of your tap water. And if you're fertilizing your blueberries, okay, y'all don't hear me though. This is how you want to water your blueberries. This is going to take the chlorine and chloramine out of your tap water, and you can lower your pH. And this is what you water your blueberries with. Everybody's asking me like if they got alkaline blueberries or their pH is high on the blueberries, what can they do to help bring that down? Do not use vinegar water. Vinegar water destroys the Aerocord mycorrhiza. This is what you want to use. This is ascorbic acid, all organic. You could do your research on it and see what people use it for. We're using it out here in the garden. Everything that we're putting in our food is things that you can put on the table. So you're looking at How do we make our fulvic acid? Baking soda. We cook with baking soda. Well, peat moss. Peat moss is inert. Most people think of peat moss as having no nutrient value, but the value of that, man, humic and fulvic acid, you could pull this out, drop that, make it precipitate, and you're left with that beautiful amber gold. That gives a whole new meaning to the peat moss. So I'm gonna come on back down here. I call it raindrops in a bottle. That's what it's called. I water with raindrops my blueberries. That's what Brianna says. Brianna Peep says she waters with rainwater. Um, what I'm gonna say to you, check the pH of your rainwater. You might be surprised. I got a rain barrel right back here in the back, and the rain barrel has a pH of 11 in it. Don't get tricked by that rainwater, because if you're collecting rainwater and it's running off your house, your asphalts, all of that stuff triggers different chemical reactions with that rainwater. It's a whole lot of things that happen with different elements when they touch. When they touch, it creates a whole different chemical reaction. So unless you got rainwater going straight down and dropping into your rain barrel, if it's coming off of a roof or you're draining off of your gutters, your rainwater is contaminated. Check the pH on it. That's all I'm gonna say. Check the pH on your rainwater, because a lot of people are watering with rainwater thinking that that's the fix to it, and it really is not. Because unless you have a straight siphon that goes and funnels that rainwater into your barrel, if it's running off of your house and you got asphalt or you have shingles on your house, you're getting contamination. All of those things contribute to the pH rise in that. So you may be watering your garden with alkaline rainwater. It's very possible. I can go over here and show you my rain barrel that's coming off of my garden house, and that rain barrel registers at a 10 on the pH. That's extremely acidic, and that's because of those shingles. After I did a little homework, I was like, what in the world is going on? Because I was trying to do one of my mixes and I needed some rainwater for it, and the rainwater just wasn't low enough. And that's what I found out, that those shingles that I have on my house are creating alkaline conditions when that rainwater runs on it. By the time it hits that barrel, my water is alkaline. So those are just some tips that you guys want to keep in mind. Let's say, let's go down here and read the chat. Foxy Brown says vitamin C. Absolutely. Vitamin C powder. That's all this is. Vitamin C powder. One of the most healthiest things now. I'm not promoting the product. I'm not promoting anyone taking this. I'm not promoting, but if you look up what vitamin C powder is, this is what it is. This is a supplement. Some people take this every day. These are the things that we're using in the garden to feed our plants. This is what we're using to feed our plants, and it is creating things like, okay, taking this for example. This is another example. Rice water. That's how I start this culture. Rice water. You mix your rice water, get it to where it's cloudy as milk, and then you pour that into your milk, and within 4 days, this is what happens. You don't have to let your milk spoil. Now, I got spoiled milk. I use spoiled milk, but this is extremely acidic. This is probably somewhere in the range of a 3.5 to a 4.0. So this is extremely acidic. This is lactic acid serum, lactic acid bacteria serum. These are cultures right here. This is all bacteria that created this down there. That's rice water. You mix that in with your milk, it causes to coagulate, and that solids float to the top. This is what I use to make my fish hydrolysis, make my own fish fertilizer. If you guys just mess with me, I'm telling you, I will put you up on all this. This is what I'm feeding all of these plants around here. My own inputs, everything that we can purchase out of the grocery store. We can go home and mix it up for a fraction of the dollar. And our fulvic acid, that'll last us all year. Our fish hydrolysis, it'll last us all year. Matter of fact, we can go down to the local pond, catch some fish. I throw it, the whole thing, the whole carcass in my Ninja blender, blend it up, and then I add just 2 tablespoons of this with it. Oh yeah, Within 20 days, we got fish hydrolysate. Fish hydrolysate outweighs 511. Fish fertilizer is a hot process. This is a cold process. It's all done by microbes. There's no processing in it at all. All done by microbes. It's some of the best fertilizer you want to put on your plants. That deep dark green that you're getting over there. Take you back over here. Show you this squash plant. I mean, I could show you, like I say, grapevine. This is what I've been putting on my grapevine. You see how light these leaves are here? But then look how dark that is. And that shine that's on it. That's that fulvic acid doing that. And where you want to spray is the underside of your leaves, not the top. This is where your stomata is located. This is where that plant uptakes its nutrients from the bottom. I see so many people spraying the top of their leaves. It's just going to roll off, because what you're going to do is, as you start putting these amendments on your plant, that gloss right there is going to cause it to roll right off. You see how that color is coming in, how that's a two-tone color? That is that fulvic acid starting to inch its way into the leaf. That's what it is. That dark green right there, that's what that fulvic acid does. And you can see right here, the new growth hadn't got it yet. But as you start going down to the older leaves, look how dark those leaves are. We'll go over here to the squash cage. I'm not even going to unzip it. But you see how dark those leaves are, and that gloss that's on there? That's money green. That's the squash cage. You can hear these. You can take this vape's kale and you can hear them crunching. You can hear it crunching. That's how thick those leaves are. Vape's kale. That time of the year where all the insects are out, they're going to come over here. They'll land on it. They'll start chewing on it, but then they'll go on about their business. I'm going to show you another plant that you need to be growing. And I've said this one time, but I'm going to let somebody else in the chat tell me what this plant is. It's one of the oldest plants on planet Earth. It's one of the oldest plants on planet Earth. These things used to be like 10, 15 feet tall. This is one of the oldest plants on planet Earth. I have this one, and I have the other one that goes in. Well, I'm not even going to tell you because I want somebody to tell me what it is. So, some my peanuts there. I'll show you some of these big these blackberries are. There's blackberries there. Blackberries. Huge. Huge. Same thing. Again, it's just I don't know, man. Come back over here. Sit you guys back up. Now we're gonna come down and get into the chat. So I wish I had Tam in here with me, because Tam would be keeping me on track and reading the chat for me. So we're gonna see if we can get this thing set up the right way. Let's see. There we go. That's my comfrey in the back there. See all that baby right there? All that's comfrey. That entire bed is dedicated to comfrey. I got some beans that are going to be growing up in the center. But then you got the leeks going to feed. The leeks look like sparklers. They look like little glowing balls on the inside. And the bees are going to work on them. See those pom-poms in the back right there? That's why I let all my onions go to seed. The bees are going to work. So one of the reasons why you might not be getting the fruit that you're looking for, because you don't have pollinators. Let those onions go to seed. That's one of your best pollinators. The bees love them. Matter of fact, I'm going to take you over here and let you see how the bees are working on these things. I'm going to show you how beautiful these things. Don't it look like a little, can you see that peach down up in the center of it? Looks like a light up in the side of it. And you see it in the daytime, it's crazy. You see the bees still working? They usually be in this time of the night, but they can't leave it alone. See the big bumblebee right there? They'll be on these things all day long. And if you don't let your carrots, let me tell you something, but this is an amazing plant right here. Look at this carrot plant. Isn't that flower beautiful? That's a carrot. She's about 4 feet tall right now. That's where the carrot seeds come from. That is a beautiful plant. I love letting my carrots go to seed. And I just let them drop. Once they go ahead and do their thing, I let them drop. But look at that. Isn't that beautiful? It's carrots. Yep. We got so many hidden jewels around that we don't even really pay attention to. We got more, these are string beans down here. I think these are Blue Lake. Got groceries everywhere. I just wanted to show you guys that. Come back over here and chat it up with you. It's that comfrey. Now David Corey with the crop, now he got the best comfrey I done seen so far. David Corey with the crops got comfrey about, I think his comfrey is about 3 feet, 4 feet tall. That's what I'm going after. I'm watching him. The comfrey is looking good though. That's what this entire bed is dedicated to comfrey. And I don't use it in my steeps. I use all this FPJs, fermented plant juices. You see we got some more navy beans coming up. We're gonna let the navy beans grow up the center. So we're using all of the space. We're not letting anything go to waste. Using all the space. So, but this is the garden in a nutshell. Fruit trees out there. I got so much to do, so much to fill in. Citrus. Yep. Got citrus, and you want to get the citrus on growingoutthebox.com. We got citrus on growingoutthebox.com. All of this stuff that we have out here. This is a ponderosa. Same thing. And this is not a soilless mix. That is a organic soil mix right there. Everything around here is organic. We're not doing any soilless mix. If you got a soilless mix, that means you're putting synthetics on your garden. We're not doing that over here. This is a ponderosa. She's got some fruit coming in. This is a eureka. Beautiful lemons. The eureka go all year long. She'll just keep putting on fruit all year. It's the eureka. Some more on the back side. Look at these new leaves coming in. We're going to hit her. Got that shine on them. We're going to hit them again with that fulvic acid. Those strawberries again for those who hadn't been in the room. Pop one of these off. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Huge. And I don't have the smallest hand in the world, but look how big that strawberry is in my hand. That's what we're doing over here. The turgor, see the turgor on these things? It bounce back up. Got another ponderosa right here. See that color coming in? Look how deep that color is in that gloss. That's what the insects don't like. And you see that gloss? You can feel it. That's what keeps those funguses and bacteria from penetrating the leaves. They can't land on it and make a home. It's kind of like flat paint on the wall. You know how you put your hands on flat paint and you get a fingerprint? This is like having glossy paint on the walls. You can wipe your hands all over it. That's a perfect analogy. You can wipe your hands all over it and it's not going to stick. That's why the spores will roll right off of that. It's the new growth. Look at all that new growth and the colors coming in. How shiny that is. It's like a gloss on it. That's the equivalent of flat paint. You see the older leaves that's been in the garage all winter, how flat they are? Those are susceptible to fungus and virus. But when you get to the new leaves, they're pulling up those nutrients. So you're kicking in overdrive now. Those are the type of leaves that you want. That Ponsyrus trifoliate. It's the bitter lemon, but that's the rootstock that all your citrus is on, or pretty much all your citrus. It's a brown select satsuma. She made it through our first winter. We're going to see how she does for the next year. She's struggling because that winter kicked her behind, but she is doing it. That out there, that's one of our Tithonia diversifolia. That's one of our Mexican sunflowers there. And we're going to be chopping her all the way down and making cuttings. We're going to do probably about 16 cuttings out of there and spread her all around the garden. Now, the only thing about the Mexican sunflower, she is allelopathic. Allelopathic, if I'm saying that correct. Allelopathic. Anybody can tell me what that means? Allelopathic. When you have a plant in the garden that's allelopathic, what does that mean? Mike's Chaotic Gardening. I know you in here. G Mama. Allelopathic. What does that mean? That's what that Mexican sunflower is. So you want to plant that Mexican sunflower at least 6 feet away from any other competing plants, because the Mexican sunflower will stop seeds from germinating and seedlings. It will hinder your seedlings from growing. But if you have fruit, it's one of the best things you want to put on a fruit tree. Increases your fruit set. That's what that Mexican sunflower does. But the roots of the Mexican sunflower are allelopathic. That means that they will block all newcomers. It protects its surrounding. It don't want nothing growing around it. So let's get down to the chat. Let's see what we're talking about. Man, I need Tam in here. Mass-made shipping restrictions. Foxy Brown, are you saying you tried to check out in the website and it's giving you shipping restrictions? If you're getting shipping restrictions on your when you try to check out, allelopathic plant's natural defense mechanism. Yep, that is a plant's natural defense mechanism, and Mexican sunflower is one of the best at it. It does not want any new things to grow around it. It protects that zone around it. So I have the Mexican sunflower in their own little space. Really, I probably shouldn't even have it in the growing area, but the deer around here love it. So if I put it outside of the garden area, the deer is gonna love it. Man, we got a hawk sitting back there on the fence, probably big as my owls over here. So, but yeah, allelopathic. Mexican sunflower is the same as Tithonia. Tithonia diversifolia is the Mexican sunflower. That's right, Tithonia diversifolia. And just to let y'all see what that strawberry looks like next to me, it's how big. Oh man, that thing smells good too. This is the type of strawberries we getting off. And they've been coming for the last month. We've been getting them off for a month. These are Juneberry and sequoias, but I'm propagating these, and might have these on growing out the box coming soon. I'm not sure. Let's see what we can get out of it. Maybe next year if I really put my mind to it. Let's get down to the chat. That means they don't want to grow around anything else. This is what Rock Fan says. Allelopathic means they don't want to grow around anything else. It's a chemical compound that will inhibit growth on anything else around. That is absolutely correct. And that would be Rock Fan that said that allelopathic is the word. And like I said, the beautiful part about it is if you have fruit trees, oh, that Mexican sunflower, the phosphorus that's in it, it'll make anything fruit. I mean, the fruit just amazing. Take that and make that fermented plant juice with it. Oh, dangerous. You just don't want to put it around seedlings. It protects its space from small things trying to grow. But as far as our fermented plant juice, that Mexican sunflower is a beast. You can get rid of, and what I do is like even on my fish hydrolysate, when I mix in the entire fish, the carcass, the bones, and all, um, my citrus blooms and small fruit are dropping. That's what Brianna says. Brianna says her citrus blooms, but the small fruits are dropping. So water, it could be a water condition. Um, are you growing organically or are you growing with synthetics? That would make a difference in how because if you're growing with synthetics, I really, I mean, I've never tried even growing with synthetics, so I wouldn't know how to advise you on that. But what I'm doing with my citrus is a simple mix. It's 33% compost, 33% peat moss, and 33% um, what is the pumice? 33% pumice. 33% pumice, 33% peat moss, and 33% compost. And I use citrus tone on my citrus tone is what I use on my citrus. I even use the cottonseed on it because they seem to love cottonseed as well. But the biggest thing for my citrus is that fulvic acid. Everything in the garden, I spray that fulvic acid on. It goes on everything. And it automatically, like I said, it bypasses whatever's in the roots and it makes it take straight up into the leaves of the plant. And you can't get much better than that. That fulvic acid is a beast. So I'm telling you, when you guys need to follow, because go back and look at the video where I did the henbit extract. You need to learn how to make the henbit extract. Once you learn how to do the henbit FPJ, you can do any plant in the garden like that. Any plant. And you can take that. That's going to be your starter culture for going to make things like your fulvic acid, to make things like your lactic acid serum. I'm giving you, I kind of like I'm giving you the whole from preschool to kindergarten to elementary to junior high to high school, and then we're gonna try to get to the college level because I ain't quite there yet. But we're gonna try to get to the college level. But it's kind of like when I was in school, I was a hard head, right? I knew how to do math, but I didn't do math the way that they was teaching me to do math. So I would always get a mark off on my grades because I couldn't work the formulas the way that they told me to work the formulas. And I always thought to myself, it's like, what difference does it make as long as I get the right answer? Well, as I started to get a little older and started going up into, let's say you go from basic arithmetics, adding, subtracting. Adding, subtracting leads to arithmetic. So you got multiplying and dividing. Then you go to geometry. All of those things tie into each other. And if you don't know how to do the one before, then you're not going to be able to do it. Then you get all the way up from geometry. Then you go to trigonometry. So if you're not following the steps to learn those formulas, you're never going to learn trigonometry. So that's what I'm trying to do with you guys. I'm trying to take you through all the steps that it took for me to get to where I'm doing these formulas, but you have to start at the beginning. You're not going to wake up today and go out here and be like, oh, I'm going to do fulvic acid extract. You got to go through the formulas, and you already have these formulas on hand if you're following what I'm asking you to do in the first place. So it's all about participating, man. We all got to be in this together, and we got to be willing to put in the work because if it's one thing that you guys know, I do too much. I be doing way too much. And that's how I'm discovering all of this stuff because I'm trying to do too much. When I go out here and it's like I'm doing reading and doing my research on how these particular things work and coincide with each other. And then once I get one little piece of it, I can't stop till I get the next piece and then the next piece. And now it's to a point to where here it is, my garden's 4 years old, and this is what it's looking like. My garden's only 4 years old, and I'm not even finished. Like, I got so much more to do between the store, having a 9 to 5, having a wife, a family, trying to make all of this happen, and learning to grow. That's really what this whole journey has been about. The food we can, we can go to the grocery store and buy food if need be, but I want to know how to grow it. So if things get to a point to where the grocery stores don't have it, like it was in 2020, we know how to go to the dirt. That's what this is all about. Knowing how to go to the dirt and get what it is you need to feed your family. This is way bigger than how many fruit you can grow, how many tomato plants you have, how many uh, cucumbers you can harvest. This is about learning how to grow food. Once you learn how to grow food, the amount of food is just, that's the easy part. Learning how to grow it when you can't get the bag. All of this stuff right here. I mean, I'm sitting here and I'm showing you all of these things that didn't come out of a store. All of these things. You got little bits and pieces that you need for your formulas, but all of these things, this is money in rainwater in a bottle. If you could bottle up rainwater, it would be fulvic acid. And I want you guys to look up what fulvic acid is and what it does to your plants when you spray this on your plants. Foliar feed. You can root drench. Foliar feed, root drench. This is like raindrops in a bottle. Imagine those days when you go through those droughts and you're out here watering your garden every day and the garden just will not respond. Because that's what happens. You watering with that rain, your tap water, you can come out here and water every day. You get one day of rain, everything greens up. That's a systemic response that the plants have, and they're triggered by certain chemicals in the rain. You got the hydrogen ions in the rain. You got all of these chemicals that happen. This is what's in this bottle. Everything that triggers that plant to open up and be receptive to all the nutrients that's in the soil, the the the, the nitrogen that's in the air, opening that stomata, opening the flood for the field to feel the soil so the microbes can wake up and the microbes can feed. Raindrops in a bottle. That's what fulvic acid is. Raindrops in a bottle. They don't want you to know that. Because if you learn how to make it, you're going to stop buying all that stuff out the store. But they done gave the wrong person the keys. Let's go back down here. Uh, the analytic gardener says, hey, what's going up, growing out the box in the chat? Listening from the garden. What's going on, analytic gardener? Thank you for coming in. David Corey with the crops. What's up, my brother? You see, I'm listening and working. That's what I'm talking about. David Corey, I'm chasing your comfrey, man. You inspired me with that comfrey. I can't stop talking about it. Every time I look at your channel now, I'll be looking for that comfrey plant. Be like, he hiding that comfrey plant. He don't want me to see it. You're gonna have to show that comfrey plant, man. That's a jewel you got over there. I was just showing my little bed with my comfrey back here. They're doing nice, but dude, you got that comfrey jumping over there. Yeah, I like that. Uh, got Jane says, read about orange rust, and it will go all the way to the roots. Are you saying try spraying Himbit? Himbit is a pre-emergence that happens. You got Himbit and dead nettle. Those are two things that you probably see in the springtime. They just blanket the garden. They blanket the soil everywhere around you. You'll see them just popping up, pretty little purple flowers that they come out. But that is one of the most powerful magnesium and iron supplements that you can have. And what I do every year, I go out there and I harvest them. I make my FPJs, and now I have that in a bottle, free, magnesium and iron. Magnesium and iron, that's what creates the chlorophyll, that green that comes up on your plants. The iron, that's what gives your plant that strength, to get you that strength. These plants already have those nutrients locked in, and we got the keys. We got the keys. Fulvic acid extract, our FPJs, all of these things. It's Korean natural farming, so it's not like something that I discovered. These are things that if you look up Korean natural farming, these are things that they've been doing for hundreds of thousands of years. And as I'm starting to learn these techniques, it's amazing. I mean, it really is amazing when you see your plants respond to it. When you see that little white butterfly fly around, land on your plants, and then just take off. She ain't got time to be fooling with those thick leaves, and they don't taste right to her. And The aphids and the white flies, they don't have time because they don't like complex sugars. When you building your bricks up in your plants, it creates complex sugars. Insects do not like complex sugars. If you're having attacks on your plants, you got potholes all in them, it's probably because you're giving it too much nitrogen and it's watering the plant down. That's what's attracting the insects. So, Jackie asks, do I have a science degree? Yeah, it's called YouTubeanology. I got a degree in YouTubeanology. Yeah, that's where I got it from. YouTubeanology. Yeah, I got a YouTubeanology degree. It's we learn from each other. Like my man David Core with the crops, he was growing fava beans one year. I never thought about growing fava beans, but come to find out, fava beans is a precursor to dopamine. So when you got anybody with I think it's cerebral palsy that has that little nervous tick. If you got kids that's ADHD, that dopamine, the fava bean, it all of these things are already built into the plants. All we got to do is just go look at information. Is the easiest thing. It's more information available now than ever before. And that is what's causing me to just be super excited about every day that I come out in this garden, because I'll come out here and I'll look around and I'll be like, okay, okay, that's reacting a certain way. So what do I do to make this happen? And then all you got to do is know the right questions. Just ask the right question. That's all this is all about. With all this information around us right now, asking the right question is the key to it all. You just got to know the right questions to ask. You get the right questions to ask, you get they give you the keys, man. That's what this whole information era is all about. It's going to change the dynamics of how we live, how we think, how we eat, how we breathe, literally. Because technology is moving so fast, the information is coming at us so fast, and we can take this stuff and we can make it work to our advantage. So where jobs are being lost, yeah, yeah. Because I'm gonna tell you, jobs are being lost because somebody somewhere making fulvic acid, and I just gave you the keys to how to make your own fulvic acid. That's the offset. So they getting rich off us, but we can offset it by growing a lot of our own foods. And then the healthier that we eat, because this stuff is nutrient dense. We're not talking about just having big plants. We're talking about checking the bricks levels on them, the saps of the leaves, all of these natural enzymes that are building these healthy plants. You eat, that's what you are. You are what you eat. So if you got weak plants, your plants are leaves are yellowing, disease, and you're eating the fruit off of it, you might as well go to the grocery store and buy it because you're doing the same thing. Nutrient density is what makes you healthy. That's your precursor for fighting off disease. The plants that we eat, these greens around here, leafy greens, change your palate. I hear a lot of people say, well, I don't like radish. I don't like okra. You know what? You need to get to start liking some things that may not taste to your palate, but are healthy for you. It's going to help you live longer. Because that's what this thing is all about, man. Just discovering what makes you better besides those little things called pills in a bottle. You can be stuck on taking pills out of a bottle that you're going to be saying for the rest of your life, man, I wish I would have did it a little different. Now I can't live without this pill in the bottle. How about you can't live without this healthy fruit? Let's change that up, change the dynamics. And how about we can't live without this healthy fruit? Start putting that healthy fruit into your body, healthy vegetables into your body. You're going to have less trips to the doctor's office. Every time you go to the doctor office, the doctor says, wow, that blood pressure is down. Wow, your glucose is under control. All of these things are going to play part into it. Be 6-0 this year. God, let me knock on wood. No medication. No medication. Just you are what you eat. Let me get down here to the chat. Do the math. What's going on, my brother? Say grow it, then eat it. That's right. Do the math. Say grow it, then eat it. Rays of sunshine. So true. Radish is easy to grow, and I think we like to try it more. Yeah, I do a thing called a radish tea, where I take radish, ginger, lemon, and what else I put in that? Radish, ginger, lemon, and cayenne pepper. I drink that on a regular basis. My kids now, but when I first started doing it, they were like, I ain't drinking that. That stuff is because it lights the house up. When you put that thing in there, and you what you do is you decoct it. You don't boil it, you decoct it. You make a decoction and you add your lemon and your honey in last. Now, when my kids come out and they coming back in with the sniffles or a cough or something, and they feel like they're finna come down with something, they come in, hey dad, can you fix me that tea? That's how serious it is. When your kids start asking for it, you know that you've done something right because they've come in and feeling a certain kind of way, and within 2 days they're back out in them streets. That's what that radish tea does. So I mean, those are some things. Asthma, 2020, 2020 knock your boy down. Albuterol, Symbicort, montelukast, all of those things. I couldn't walk 10, 15 feet without having to sit down, gather my breath, and then pick myself up, try to walk 10, 15 feet. That's what 2020 did for me. A year and a half of dealing with that. Haven't taken any medication in the last 2 years. I worked myself off of it because I was determined not to be on medication for the rest of my life. Every time I went to my pulmonary doctor, he was like, oh, well, Mr. Keith, if you're not going to do what I ask you to do, how can I help you? And it's like, man, I don't want to be on this medication the rest of my life. And what we do is we go and we let them put those pills in the bottle and we take those pills and then our body becomes dependent upon it. It's when you take your soil and how you grow your plants naturally, it makes so much sense to you. When you start giving your plants, let's say you bring a plant home from the big box store, it's got those little green pellets all in it. That's that synthetic fertilizer. You take them out of that pot and you put them in your soil. What are they gonna do? They're gonna start drooping. They struggling because you just took them off the pills. And then after a while, they start learning how to feed themselves. They start communicating with the microbes, the bacteria in the soil. And then all of a sudden they start picking up again. Then you start feeding them your organic fertilizer. Then all of a sudden they pick up again. Then by the time they start producing fruit, you've changed them over. You've converted. You've weaned them off of those peels, those little green dots that they put in those pots. You've weaned your plants off, and now they're giving you good fruit. Take those seeds and plant those and then recycle, close the loop. Our bodies work the same way. You take yourself off, and I'm not telling anybody, advising anybody about your medications or anything like that, but you have to be able to go through the struggle to get to the other side of it. That's what I had to do. I had to struggle to get to the other side. I slept for 3 years sitting up in the bed. 3 years I slept sitting up in the bed because I couldn't sleep laying down. My whole sinuses would close in on me every night. I couldn't breathe. 3 years I slept like that. Perfect. No breathing. Go in there now and it's like, oh man, Mr. Chubby, you got the lungs of a 30-year-old. Hold on. Now, last year you said I had asthma. Now, how this year I got the lungs of a 30-year-old? Go figure. Strength in your struggle. That's right, Candy. That's right. Strength in the struggle. Just in the garden says side effects during the RX. That's right. Commercial makes it. I mean, you think about that. And we were sitting there. We were sitting there talking about that the other night. We were looking at the commercials that come on. You look at the amount of commercials that come on. There are more medications advertised than anything else on the TV. Medication. Every other commercial is about a pill that can do this, a pill that can do that. Then there's a pill that fixes the thing that pill messed up, and then you got to take a pill to fix the thing that thing messed up, that other thing messed up, and then before you know it, you stuck into a lifestyle of dependent upon these pills because your body has grown affixed to it. Perfect example, when I planted my alfalfa, I put aged wood chips in the top 3 inches of the soil. Alfalfa. I put aged wood chips in the top 3 inches of the soil. Now, what is that going to do? It's going to rob the soil of nitrogen. You know why I did that? Because I wanted my legumes, which are my alfalfas, to form a symbiotic relationship with the rhizobium bacteria that's in the soil. I forced them to communicate. If they didn't communicate, they weren't going to survive. So what do they do now? I just harvested my first batch of alfalfa 2 days ago. I just harvested my first batch. I should have been harvesting at the end of the year. This is my first season growing alfalfa. But because I starved them of the nitrogen, they were forced to go down and communicate. And that's what they call that symbiotic relationship. The melalotic bacteria that's in the soil that I inoculated that soil for, they are meant to work with each other. So the alfalfa sends down sugars and carbohydrates through its roots. It feeds it to the bacteria that's in the soil. In exchange, that's the bacteria in the soil brings those nutrients back up and feed it to the plant. You don't need the synthetics. You got to force yourself to go through it. And that was a gamble. I took a gamble on that because it was a theory that I had. It's like, okay, well, if you're saying that legumes fix nitrogen, then I should be able to rob the soil of the nitrogen and they should be okay. I could turn that camera around. You see that green patch right there? That that's all alfalfa growing. All of that's alfalfa. You see how green those leaves are? You got some yellow going up in there because some of them may not be out down and tapped into that soil. But for the most part, that's lush green right there. With 3 inches, hear what I'm saying now? 3 inches of wood chips into the top 3 inches of that soil. Aged wood chips. Who does that? Growing out the box. Because I be doing too much. Yeah. Can I get some advice on spaghetti squash? The male flowers of bloom die and then they start wilting. Uh, that sounds like pollination. Are you getting pollinators? Matter of fact, I had my paintbrush out here with me this morning. I hand pollinate my squash. I had my paintbrush out here with me. Let's see if, hold on. See if I can. I'm about that life. I'm not playing. I hand pollinate my squash. And I got bees flying all around. But what I like to do is I like to take the pollen from another plant and use the pollen to pollinate one of my other plants. Biodiversity. And that I'm gonna tell you, man, nature is such a beast. When you think about the alfalfa, right? If you take this paintbrush, this little fine tip of the paintbrush, and you stick it into the alfalfa flower, it'll snap it. Isn't that amazing? The flower will actually snap because what it's doing is it's thinking that that's a bumblebee and it's going to knock the pollen off of that bumblebee. It's self-fertile, but it does not want to be fertilized by itself. It wants the biodiversity of another plant. That's how smart that plant is. It knows that if it gets pollen from another source, that its genetics are going to get better. So that's what I do with my paintbrush. I come out here every morning when the flowers are open and I dab, go to one plant, get the pollen, take it over to the female plant, put the pollen in. That's how you get those large eggplants. The same principle that we have cross pollinating with our blueberries, it's the same principle with every other plant in your garden. You want to get the better tomatoes, take the pollen from another plant and go and tap it. Even though your tomatoes are self-pollinating, take the pollen and put it from another plant. You're gonna get those beautiful tomatoes. Matter of fact, walk over here. Show you guys this. Some of y'all was weird when I picked this off. Perfect tomatoes. Perfect. Not a flaw on them. Not a flaw on them. Perfect tomatoes. Not a flaw on them. I just picked these off. I just took these off the bush. These are Marglobes. Perfect tomatoes. Perfect. Not a flaw on them. Just keep going down here digging them out. Perfect tomatoes. No flaws. I'm not going for those big old, what do you call, big better boys and all that. I'm gonna grow the same tomatoes every year, consistently. Same tomatoes every year. They're gonna get better and better in my microclimate. Same tomatoes. I can do paste with them, meaty, all of these. See how they still blushing on the top? You want to take them when they're blushing. But all that rain and they still hadn't popped. They thick skin. How shiny that skin is. Now, if y'all were in here at the beginning, woo, that's an eggplant. That's a black beauty. Look at that shine. This is a black beauty eggplant. I just picked this off as the live was starting. It's a black beauty eggplant. Look at that shine. You can't make that up. This is all naturally grown. I don't even want to say organic. It's naturally grown. That fulvic acid and those FPJs, fermented plant juices, it's a game changer. Go back and watch that video where I did the Himbit FPJ. You can apply that towards any weed that's in your garden. Just make sure that you look up whatever the nutrient values of that weed. And I'm going to show you, inside I got a little shelf, right? And on that shelf, I got little bottles like this. They're all lined up. Each one of those bottles have the plant that I harvested from, the nutrients that that plant brings to the garden, which plants benefit most from it, and it's all in a bottle. You could take these weeds and you could bottle it up and you can keep this stuff up to a year. Up to a year. You can, a whole shelf of anything that I need. If I got a magnesium deficiency, I can go to my Himbit. I know Himbit has a magnesium and iron. If I got a really iron deficiency, you can go out there to your pecan tree, do a FPJ with the pecan leaves. That's iron. That's a very potent iron source. You can find any plant, sulfur. Sulfur. You got this plant back here has what is it that I'm looking for? Builds the cuticles up on them. That's it's every plant around there. Like I said, you basically build your catalog. It's like going to the medicine cabinet, but you ain't going to the doctor to get none of that stuff. It's all in your garden. Grass. You could take grass clippings and do an FPJ. You got a bottle of nitrogen right there. You use that the fulvic acid with it. Game changer. Game changer. That's when you can get strawberries like this. I'm gonna put a tomato next to the strawberry. This is a strawberry. This is a strawberry. This is what my strawberries look like. That's a tomato. So I'm just telling you guys that there's so much that we can do on our own. We don't have to be, going to the big box store and buying something in a bottle every time. And I'm showing you, I'm teaching you guys, I'm showing you guys all the things that I'm doing over here to make this work. So let me go back down here. Yeah, that's a pretty eggplant. What is this? Sea solar. What? Different woods will do different things to alfalfa. Somebody say different woods will do different things to alfalfa. Well, I'm talking about the wood chips that I have in my garden. I use to put in my soil. So it did what it was supposed to do and what I thought it would do in theory. And it worked out very well. Like I said, I harvested my first alfalfa 2 days ago, and it's going to be, I'll have a jar this size. I have mason jars, which are like, I think they're 12-ounce mason jars that I'll fill that up. This one mason jar with that alfalfa in it, that'll last me 2 years because you're only using just a tiny a teaspoon to a gallon every time you water. You put that fulvic acid with it, goes straight to the plant. You're going to use less and get more. That's what these FPJs do for you. I mean, it's just amazing. Let's see here, get back down to the bottom. Candice, any wood or what type of wood do you use for your wood chips? I use cypress wood chips in all my garden beds. Cypress wood chips. Yeah, 7 tomatoes in stores continue convince me. Indeed. Let's see here. And grow tomatoes this year. That's Rays of Sunshine says, yeah, 7 tomatoes in store convinced me. I guess she's talking about the price of the tomatoes. But I mean, I can walk out. I can walk out to the garden at any time, and they're here. And what I'll do with one of these, I'll take the seeds directly from this, and I'm going to grow a lot more tomato plants going into the summer. These are determinants right here. The mariglobes are determinants. I like growing determinants rather than the indeterminants. The indeterminants take up a lot of space, and then most of the time they get real sickly. I can take you over to all of my plants, even with all the rain that we've been getting. All my plants are healthy. Still got a little yellowing every now and again on the leaf. You might get a little spot every day. Prune it off. That's how simple it is. Just keep pruning. The more you prune, the more that tomato is going to keep putting on. And with the determinants, you're going to get so much, it's going to put it out, and then it's time to put another one in. So with these producing now, I'll simply take the seeds out of this, start them, let's say next week, and by the time those are finished, I have some 12-inch seedlings already coming up, ready to go back in. So by the time that summer heat hits, we're going to be harvesting once again. So, and I'm just doing just enough. I'm not even growing half of what I could be growing. I'm doing just enough because I just want to know that it's working. I want to know that I'm able to grow. That satisfies me more than just pulling a whole pot of stuff off at one time because I still got to get my canning and all of that stuff down. I haven't gotten into the canning and all. So I basically use the garden as the refrigerator or the storage cabinet. I come out here, pick what we're going to get. That's what we're going to eat tonight. So with this eggplant here, it came off pretty fast, but this thing was hiding on the bottom over there. I didn't even really know it was there till I was putting some compost around it maybe last week, and I was like, "Oh my God, that's gonna be a queen right there." Look at this thing, the gloss, little give. That's what you want to look for, a little give in it. Just want a little give. That's how you know she's still good. The gloss, a little give, and that color. That's what you need. Lasagna eggplant. So we would be trying to save seeds out of this. This is definitely one worth saving seeds out of. You want to get that. Go back down here. Say Rock Fan says, thank you, Keith. You're doing a tremendous service. Yeah, this again, like I said, I put that video out yesterday, um, talking about the alfalfa and how to make the alfalfa tea, how to make that alfalfa tea sustain itself. You can make it last a little longer, and it hadn't really got that many views. But it's not so much about the video itself, but it's about the technique. That's what I'm trying to get you guys to understand. Once you learn the technique, it's kind of like what I was going back to the math equations, like um, basic arithmetic, math, subtracting, adding, division, multiplication, geometry, trigonometry, and then so on and so on. You have to know one in order to know the other. And if you don't know the formulas, everything is more difficult. Once you know the formula, you don't crack the code. I'm giving you guys the formula. I'm giving you guys the formula to crack the code on anything that you want to do so you can grow eggplant like this. Isn't that that thing? And it sounds like a rubber ball. All the tails. You can grow perfect tomatoes. Not a flaw on it. This is every bush out here, every tomato plant that I have out here. You can grow kale all year long. No insects. Over there. I ain't pulling no kale. I got collards growing too. I'm gonna grow collards all year long. Now what I do with the collards is by that's my indicator. When the collards start getting some insect pressure, that means it's time for me to turn it up. So I grow collards also not just to keep eating because you put a little sweetener on it, you can take that little bitter punch away from it. But the more you feed it that fulvic acid and those FPJs, that bitterness doesn't even happen anymore. You're keeping that plant nutrient, dense the whole time. Again, the collards is an indicator. I grow it all summer long. By the time the fall come around, my collards are already 2 feet tall. I mean, by the time the fall comes around, my collards are already 2 feet tall. So somebody says, why do you prefer cypress wood chips? What about the other types of chips, e.g. applewood or popular? I grow cypress because cypress has a compound in it called cypernese. Cypernese is a lot of insects don't like it. So termites, not saying that they won't get to it, but they'll more likely go somewhere else before they choose that. Cypernese, that's what's in the cypress wood chips. Cypernese is also once the roly-polies, because you'll notice the roly-polies that come into the garden. I grow the roly-polies. A lot of people were so offended when they saw me capturing the roly-polies and recycling them back into the garden. I feed the roly-polies. The roly-polies love cypress. So when you add a fresh batch of cypress down there, you see the roly-polies breaking it down. I have to literally refill my beds every year because every year the cypress becomes a living mulch. The saprophytic fungi, all of that ties into it, and it breaks that mulch down within a year. And then you're having to replenish. You go back out, take you some powdered oatmeal, you mix it in, pull that mulch back, take that powdered oatmeal, mix it around there, and then you soak it in with that fulvic acid extract, cover it back up, that saprophytic fungi goes to work on it. And then you get stuff like, let me see if I can take you over here and let you see how it fuses the mulch together. See this right here? That's saprophytic fungi that's fused that. These are wood chips that are locked together. It's like a sponge. And what happens is the rain gets to this and it holds moisture in the soil. Those are wood chips tied together. Saprophytic fungi is what does that. All down here in the garden bed. And then you could take these little simple wood chips right here and you could pop them with your finger because they're decaying. You see how easy that crumbles? They become sponges. That's saprophytic fungi that does that. See all of that? These are wood chips that are fused together. That's what cypress is. That's why I love cypress. The saprophytic fungi love cypress. And those are your soil dwellers. When I say saprophytic fungi, those are your soil dwellers. They take up all the food off the top side. They break down everything on the top of your garden bed. And then they pass those nutrients down to what they call the arbuscular. The arbuscular are more towards the roots. So the saprophytic fungi breaks down all of your ground mulch, your leaves, all of that stuff. You'll see like the mycelium going through the little spider web looking stuff that's on your wood chips. That's the saprophytic fungi. And the mycelium just happens to be the pathway or the saprophytic fungi. And you'll see the mushrooms pop up. All of that is the result of saprophytic fungi. And then they pass that as it breaks down to things like your roly-polies. The roly-polies that come in and they'll start gnawing on it once it gets soft. And then, of course, every time they poop, that becomes fertilizer. That's what your plant's feeding off of. So when people are saying, yeah, roly-polies are good for the garden, they are absolutely great for your garden. But I harvest roly-polies. You got to take into account like people that raise chickens. You can get fertilizer from them. That's the chicken poop. You can let them go out and pick bugs out the garden. You can get the eggs from them. All of these things those chickens add. Well, the roly-polies are the same thing. They'll come out, they'll eat all of the stuff out of the garden, break it down, poop it. But every now and again, you got to harvest. You harvest them, cycle them back in. I'll take them out of the little traps that I make for them, and I'll put them right back into the soil. Put some compost on top of them. That breaks down and it feeds those nutrients that they taken up back to the soil. Now people will say, "Well, what about the heavy metals that the roly-polies take up? Aren't you just putting that back in the soil?" No, nature is a beast. Nature has her own cleanup crew. So when those heavy metals go back into the soil and it breaks down, your saprophytic fungi houses that. It never releases it. When it puts it back in there and they break those the chitins down, the little shells on because they're crustaceans. The roly-polies, they're actually like sea, like akin to what is this, shrimp and lobsters. So their shells are actually little shells. So they deliver chitin to your soil. Chitin is a deterrent for root knot nematodes. So when you put that back into your soil, you harvest those roly-polies that are in abundance, and you put that back into your soil, you're feeding all of those nutrients back to your plant. It's a cycle. So when I heard people just like, "Oh man, you shouldn't be killing the roly-polies. They're good for the garden." They are absolutely good for the garden. I'm 100% agreeing with you. That's why I'm feeding them back to my soil. I feed my roly-polies all season long. This time of the year, you can go. Matter of fact, I'm gonna show you. This is why when people are talking from the outside and they don't have an idea of what it is that you're doing in your garden, they just talk. Because you can go to my garden beds, the roly-polies will eat your plants. They will eat your plants. But let me show you how to fix that. And I'm gonna show you in all my beds. I do the same thing. You see this right here? That's the work. You see them on the back right there? They're breaking that down. Roly-polies. I feed that to them all year long. They happy. I just take the, like if you get a leaf that's got a little discoloration to it, I just drop it down on the soil. Drop it down there. You see that right there? All of these leaves that I feed to them, they break it down. You see the roly-polies hanging out up in there? They break all of that down, and they break it down faster than any microbe, faster than any fungi. They'll break that leaf down within 2 weeks. It'll be gone, completely gone, and then those nutrients go back into the soil. See that? You see them running? They'll break that down. I feed them. So why do I harvest them? Because I take around, I let them go, and then when I get ready to harvest them, uh-oh, I don't know what I did just then. There we go. When I get ready to harvest them, that's when I put those little balls out there. You see that right there? And I'll take them with the yeast that's in that, and I mix that back into the soil. That's all over the garden, everywhere you look over here. I do that all over. This is another perfect example. See that? Where you gonna find a composter like that? I feed my roly-polies on a regular. And where you don't see them at is up here. Now, if you don't feed them, they're gonna go get your plants. That's the whole bottom line. They're gonna get your plants if you don't feed them. Look at that. Look at that rich color. Look like Christmas bells up in there. Dark color. All over it. You can come out and pick those, they're blushing. Got more over here. All that. It's just coming up. We got our squash right there going up. We're gonna grow squash out here too, because I'm using that my horsetail to see if I can stiffen up the cuticles on this. You see that shine on there? That's that horsetail doing that. You hear that roughness? That's that horsetail that I've been spraying on them, horsetail tea. And I'm trying to see if that'll work for the squash vine borer. So even when I'm comfortable with what I'm doing out here, I'm always experimenting with something. Always experimenting. I want to know what works, and the only way that you're going to know what works is you got to actually try it. So it's getting dark out here. I didn't bring my lights out, and you see my little lights are starting to twinkle right now. Twinkle stars. So I'm gonna just see if I can get a couple of questions in, and then we're gonna bail up out of here. All right. So any questions? So hey, Mike's Chaotic Gardener. See, Mike just came in. It says to use American native rather than the Europeans. I'm not sure what that means. And I heard ladybugs are good to get rid of aphids. Ladybugs are absolutely great to get rid of aphids. Um, you're not going to have ladybugs if you don't have aphids because they're not going to come where there's no food. If you see ladybugs around your garden, that's a good thing and a bad thing because the ladybugs are only going to go where there's food. And if there's food, that means you have aphids. So that's a plus and a minus. Um, I like ladybugs, but when I see them, that means something ain't right. They telling you something. That means you got a problem somewhere if you got ladybugs everywhere because they will not come if there's nothing to eat. If you got something there to eat, the ladybugs are going to be there. So let's see here. Daryl Jones says, horsetail, if I can't find horsetail plant, can I purchase the fulvic acid on the internet? Yeah, you can purchase fulvic acid, but why? Why are you gonna purchase it when I'm gonna show you how to make it? It's very simple. Fulvic acid. I can make this stuff every day of the week. I mean, it probably costs pennies on the dollar. When you're gonna buy a jar like this, will cost you about $50. Costs you about $50. You can make this stuff for pennies on the dollar. I would say probably $3, $4 with all the ingredients that you need to go into this. Besides buying the bulk uh, peat moss, that's going to be your bulk. But then what do? Buy peat moss one time, and then you just have it. So black gold, if you get the black gold, that's even better. That other premium peat moss is cool, and all of it'll work. Don't get me wrong, all of the peat moss will work. So I don't want to send you into a frenzy and thinking that you only could use the black gold, but the black gold is from the bottom of the bog. The I think the other one is I forget the other one. Starts with a P in the green bag. That comes from the top of the bog. Um, let's see. Tammy Sherrill says, what's the advice on the spaghetti squash? The advice on the spaghetti squash was pollination. That's probably your issue on the spaghetti squash while your flowers are falling. You got to hand pollinate. You can go to Michael's or Walmart or anybody, get you a fine, soft tooth paintbrush and go out there early in the morning and start hand pollinating, because it sounds like you got a pollination issue. If your flowers are falling off, it's probably pollination issues. If your plants are healthy, if your plants are healthy and your flowers are just falling off, it's probably a pollination issue. You're getting fruit and then the flowers fall off, and then right behind that, the fruit. That means the plant's not getting pollinated. Um, let's see. Oh yeah, you never answered that one. Let's see. She said one of the oldest on earth. One of the plants that are oldest on earth, that is horsetail. Horsetail. Look that up. Horsetail. Field horsetail, and that's Equisetum arvance is what it's called. Equisetum arvance. I have both of them. I have the horsetail Equisetum arvance and the horsetail Equisetum reeds. I have both. One of them is a water plant, and the other one is a field plant. The field plant, I'm just gonna warn you before you even get it. You got to put that sucker in a container and put it up off the ground, because she will walk. And once she start walking, she gonna take over. She ain't no joke. One of the oldest plants on planet Earth is Equisetum arvance. That's horsetail, field horsetail. I have those growing over there, but you can make a beautiful FPJ out of that. And that's what I've been spraying on my eggplants. And what that does is it builds up the silica. It has like anywhere from a 25 to 35% silica base. And that builds the cuticles up on your plant. So when insects land on it, the gnawing insects, they'll start chewing on it, and it'll tear down the little nodules that they use to gnaw into your plant, and they'll just go on to the next plant. So that's what we're doing. We're just building up the tissue on the leaves, so it makes it a little less hospitable for other insects to get onto it. So let's see here what the next question is. How do you care for sprouting newly planted blueberry bushes? I've been spraying them with organic mint spray from Amazon. How do you cure spotting? Oh, okay. You're looking at leaf spots? That's going to be maybe a septoria, anthracnose. What are some things? Remove the leaves. That's the easiest way to deal with that. All that spraying and stuff. Once you get those funguses, those spores on your plants, once you get them, it's going to be so difficult. And the thing about your blueberry bush, even if it loses all of its leaves, they'll grow back. So don't be afraid of taking those leaves off. Just go out and pluck those leaves off. If she's bare for the season, she'll put up new sprouts in the new season and just give you new fruit. But the whole thing about that is spoiled milk. You see that clear liquid up top? That's whey. That's liquid whey, lactic acid bacteria. Spoiled milk. Let your milk spoil. Keep the cap on it. It's going to bulge up. You might have to go out and and loosen it, tighten it up a little bit, but take that liquid out of it. You see that clear liquid? That's liquid weight. That's a lactic acid bacteria. That is what I spray on all my blueberry bushes. All that fungicides and copper fungicides and sulfur and all that other stuff, you don't need that. But the key is prevention. Once you get those fungus spores on it, it's going to be hard to get rid of it. But you start spraying first of the season. Soon as those berries come off, start spraying again. I do it every bi-weekly, like every 2 weeks, every 3 weeks. Soon as I harvest those berries, I go into my regimen. Because this time of the year, you got 75, 85 degrees, that's when those fungal spores are most active. When you're getting all of this rain, that's when those fungal spores are most active. 75 to 85. When we start getting up into the 90s, it's not as bad, but then the plants are going to die out because it's so hot. But if your plants can make it through this temperature range right here, 75 to 85, you can make it through the summer. All my tomatoes that I grow, of course, I grow determinants. So I'm constantly cycling out my plants. But my black cherry tomatoes, I don't have to worry about. My queen of the night tomatoes, I don't have to worry about. They'll make it through the summer because I grow what plants are supposed to be growing during that time of the season. We're trying to grow these, what do you call, big boys, better boys, all of these tomatoes that get so big. They duds when it comes to the heat. They can't handle the heat. So you got that little window that you're going to invest all of this time and energy into, and then once that summer hits, they're going to get all kind of blight and diseases, and then you're just out. I grow those determinants all season long. They're heat tolerant. Marglobe, Marglobe, Marglobe. They're meaty. You can make sauces out of them. You can put them on sandwiches. You can eat them fresh. Marglobe. Look how beautiful these things are. They'll get a little larger than this. Marglobes. Look like little apples. That's what they look like. Apples. If you look at the picture of an apple, look how perfect they are. This is what I grow. I don't do all of those big tomatoes and all that. I'm satisfied with these little babies right here. You can make your pasta sauce with them, put them in a blender, puree them up, and then throw them in the refrigerator for a couple of days, let that water separate out of them, and you got your tomato paste right there. That's how easy that is. There's nothing that you can't do with these things. Let me see here. Got another question in there. You want to put another one up on there to highlight? Okay. Can you talk about pouring leaves, stems on blueberries and tomatoes to get? Can you talk about pruning leaves and stems for blueberries and tomatoes get the best results like yours? Pruning. Pruning for your blueberries happens in the winter. I do all my pruning late winter, early spring. That's the only time I don't do any summer pruning on my blueberries. And the reason why I don't do summer pruning is because that opens your bush up to every fungal disease that's out there. Once you cut that thing in the middle of the summer, it's susceptible to anything. And one of the things that I noticed too, I heard somebody say that they were getting the berries were drying up on their bush. That's mummy berry. That is one of the things that happens when you're letting your berries drop on your soil and you're not cleaning those up. Do not let your berries drop on the soil. Clean that mess up. The blueberries are just so finicky. There's so many different things that can happen. You want to make sure that you have those mini pine bark nuggets mulched on it. And I got the fix for growing in ground. I call it, and I think I talked about it on the last thing, and I'm going to plant maybe two of my blueberry bushes in the ground just so you guys can see exactly how I'm doing it. But I did it for a neighbor fall of fall of last year, and his blueberries are doing amazing. His native soil is a 6 point, I think it was like a 6.5 or something like that. So he wasn't in the alkaline side, but a 6.5 is still too high to grow blueberries. But what we did was we created what I call a blueberry pit, and I'm going to show you guys how to do that. I mean, It's awesome the way we do it. But basically, you take the whole concept of how I grow my blueberries in those 48-inch raised bed containers, the corrugated containers. You basically dig down into the soil 12 inches, and then you're going to put that mix into that hole. But in the center of that hole, you're going to do a 12-inch auger bit down it, 12 inches. So what that's going to do is that's going to prevent you from having any waterlogging situations. You're going to have it to where it's a drain hole, so you don't have what they call the man, I'm in the brain part right now. I can't call the word that I'm looking for right now, but that keeps the water from settling to the bottom and giving you a drain plug in the middle. And then what you do is from the center of that hole, you're going to be planting your small blueberry bush, and it's going to grow out into it. So you're creating a buffer with the soil mix that I'm telling you guys to use. And then you take 12 to 24 inches on the outside perimeter of that, and that is where you add your elemental sulfur. That is where you add your elemental sulfur. So you don't put the elemental sulfur right around your blueberry because you're going to damage the roots of your blueberry. Your elemental sulfur needs to go outside of the perimeter of where you grow your blueberries because it creates a buffer zone. And then what you're doing is you don't plant your blueberry bush in the ground at soil level. If your soil is here, you want your blueberry at least 4 inches above your soil line. And then what you're going to do is you're going to mound the blueberry up. So we're going to do the same thing that we do above ground. We're doing it in ground, but we're going to mound the blueberry up. It's going to be on the top. So what we're doing is we're creating a buffer around the blueberry, and it's working. So this is something that I've been excited about sharing with you guys. We did like 4 plants to see how this worked, and it's working out perfect. The soil around it creates a buffer with that elemental sulfur, and then the mix on the inside is holding itself. It's buffering that high pH out. So let's see if we can get another one. Somebody says class is in session. Uh, the names are blacked out, so I can't really see the name. I could read the thing though. Let's see here. We got another question. Masterclass. Thank you. Any other questions in there? Blueberry pit. Yeah, that's what we're calling it, a blueberry pit. It's it's about as crazy as those planters. When everybody first started seeing me doing those planters, they was like, "Man, what are you doing? Your blueberries are not going to survive." Yeah, it's you're basically creating buffer zones, and that's the whole thing. When you put your blueberry in the ground, the soil is going to reclaim itself every single time. Your soil has a natural buffering capacity, so it don't matter how much uh, mix you put in your soil. If you don't have some way to block that out, some way to create a parameter around your blueberry bush soil that's in the ground, it's going to automatically take it over every year. You're going to be putting that down every year, and you're going to have to do that anyway if you do the elemental sulfur. It's something that you have to reapply every single year. So tips for free here. Lots of free tips here. That's right. Growingoutthebox.com. Uh, let's see. We got any other questions? Because it's dark out here now. I'm about to get up out of here. I got to drag all my crap in the house. Yeah, the mosquitoes starting to jump too. Some blueberry bushes measure 4.0 pH or lower. Should a should I add lime? Uh, I would not add lime. Um, if you got native soil that's a 4.0, where do you live at? I need to come up there and get me a truckload of that soil. Native soil that's a 4.0. Let me know where you live at. I'd like to come and get some of that soil. I use pine. I use old pine shavings when the chickens are done. Pine shavings, I would not. And I'm gonna tell you why I would not use pine shavings. This is me personally. I would not use pine shavings, and there's a reason why. You got lignin and cellulose. Pine shavings from the inside of the tree is cellulose. That's going to take nitrogen. Pine bark from the outside of your tree is lignin. That's going to take more to break down. That lignin is so much more tougher, and it breaks down at a so much slower pace than the pine bark shavings. The pine shavings, I'm sorry, will break down so fast that the microbes in your soil are going to be so focused on breaking that down that they're not going to be feeding your blueberry bush. I would not personally, put any pine shavings next to my blueberry bush. It's just that's the difference. Lignin and cellulose. Those are the key differences. People ask me like, how are you putting uh, those mini pine bark nuggets in your soil and it's not robbing nitrogen? Actually, it is robbing nitrogen, but it's kind of like a battery charger. The the You can't do one part without the other. So when you put those mini pine bark nuggets in your blueberry bush soil, it does draw down nitrogen. But because we're adding the cottonseed meal into the mix, the cottonseed meal offsets the drawdown. It feeds faster than it depletes, so it always balances itself. It's like a battery charger. So that's why twice a year you have to put that entire mix back on the blueberry bush. You brush your mulch back, you take a 3 gallons of that mix and you put a quarter cup of that cottonseed meal in, you brush your mulch back, you sprinkle that around the complete parameter of your blueberry bush, and then you cover it back up with your pine bark mulch. You just recharge your battery. You have to do that twice a year in order for that system to work. It's a like I said, it's no better example of how to explain it than a battery charger. That's what we created with this blueberry mix. It's a battery charger. You have to charge that battery twice a year and it'll keep going. Let's see here. We say growing out the box. Do you set your blueberries? Let's see here. Or is it just for you and your family? Do I sell my blueberries? She said, growing out the box. I sell blueberry bushes on growingoutthebox.com. The pink lemonade is sold out as of yesterday. So if anybody's ordered pink lemonade, I'm going to have to do a refund. I see I got a couple of orders for the pink lemonade that we didn't know that we were sold out. But the pink lemonade is sold out. The Misty is sold out. And I want to say the Brightwell is getting to probably real low. But yeah, we sell blueberries. I don't sell my blueberries, but I sell blueberry plants. Yes, I do. Citrus plants, plums. We got everything. And we're going to be adding strawberries and grapevines. So I got the Mars, the Everest, um, the Concord, all of those grapevines we're going to have next year on growingoutthebox.com. So let's see. We got another question in there. He says, are you going to write a book? I'm never going to remember half of this. Uh, if anybody in the chat, this is a perfect time. If anybody in the chat knows anything about putting a book together, holla at me. I have this little project that I am working on that I just don't have time. Like, Tammy, my sis Tam, she helps me out with the website and all. She has her thing going on. She has her My Pretty Pillows. So if you guys have not checked out myprettypillows.com, she makes for your grandbabies, your babies. She makes these awesome pillows custom made for your kids. She only does it for kids, not grown folk stuff. She does still do it. She makes outfits for kids. myprettypillows.com. That's going to be my sister's Tam store. She has a shop down in Columbus, Georgia. So if anybody here is down in Columbus, Georgia, go and check her out over at My Pretty Pillows. She has a storefront down there now. Does custom baby clothes, custom toddler clothes, custom pillows. I'm trying to get her to make some pillows for the garden, but she says she don't do grown people stuff. So, hey, but she's busy doing that. So I need help. I mean, I really do. I need help. I want to do what they call a seed saver pack. And in that seed saver pack, I pretty much give you all of my regiments of what I add into the plants that I grow. And seeds like Marglobe tomatoes that'll be in the seed saver pack. My uh, garlic, my elephant garlic, my beans, my hashiko onions, all of the things that I grow around my garden, Mike's Chaotic Garden, and I'm gonna add in the Georgia Candy Roaster into it. So there'll be 15 seeds in this seed pack, and you'll be able to buy it for half of the price of what you would go and buy it for any of the stores. We're looking at in the stores $2.99 for a seed pack. Cut that in half and then multiply times 4. So we'll probably be doing the entire seed pack for maybe $15. You're getting 15 different seeds for $15, and it comes with the book. That's what I need help on, putting the book together for our seed pack. That's what's holding me up. I have seeds. I have many seeds. My dark opal basil. I even have alfalfa seeds. I just got plenty of seeds. I don't want to do one seed pack at a time. That's like too much energy to be wasted when I could be doing other things. So if anybody in here knows anybody that does any type of bookmaking, tell them to get in touch with me. I'm sure we can make this make sense. If you got a channel you're trying to grow, I love shouting you out on my channel, sharing your information. Um, the barter system. That's what we're working on. So gardening requires a notebook and a journal planner. I, you know what? I try to. I don't know what has gotten over me lately, but I just been taking this information in and it's landing. And I guess because I've been going through the A B C D E F G, case scenario. I started from the beginning. I started purchasing all of these organic grow, fertilizers. In the beginning, I was buying every organic fertilizer you could think of, and I was looking at the instruction. Most of the organic fertilizers have their formulas written right on them, and that's part of what they do. So I started researching how can I grow these particular inputs that they were putting out? Where did these inputs come from locally? I just started doing research. And as I started doing the research, okay, maybe this plant has high phosphorus content. This plant has a high nitrogen content. This plant has lots of macronutrients. This plant has lots of micronutrients. So as I started learning those things, and then I started trying it out, mixing them in with compost, everything, the key is compost. Mixing all of these different inputs in with fresh compost that I was making, and then I was seeing the plants respond, then that's what really started getting me to trigger off on, oh wow, let me try this, let me try that. And it's just been one day after another. It's not a day that goes by where I'm not studying or looking, researching, or trying to find something. When I even coming out here and just talking with you guys, just prepping for the conversation, it's just I really appreciate the whole thing, man. Just everything that you guys. Do you sell raspberry plants? No, I don't sell raspberry plants, but I think we're going to have a vendor online next year. It'll probably come on because they're down for the seasons. A lot of the nurseries, they don't ship during the middle of the summer because it's too hot to ship. Plants die during transit, so it's just a hassle. They shut down and basically don't open back up until the fall. So the supplier that I've been dealing with, they have raspberries, blueberries, uh, grapevines, strawberries. They have all of those things. So we're going to be bringing that inventory online to growingoutthebox.com. Let's see what else we have here. Thank you. You're a fort of knowledge, and I appreciate you generously sharing your knowledge all the time. The blessing is in sharing. I can't tell you that. And I can't say it. It's crazy because if I could tell you how many people are coming to me and like, why aren't you boxing this stuff up and selling it? Well, let me tell you how this works. You can, okay, let me see how I put it. There's so many people out here that want to grow things on their own. They can build things. The garden beds. They can go out here and build those things. I'm going to show you how to build. That's how I do. I'm going to show you how to build them. I'm going to show you how to grow them. But then there's that market like my wife and my sister. They just want to buy it. They're not going to go out there and build nothing. They're not. So what I've discovered in a lifetime of being a giver is you're going to find people that are in need of things, and then some people don't. But if you give away the things that people are in need of, the people who have it will support you. And that's been the blueprint. That's been my whole modus operandi and how I function. This is a life experience. This is not just something that I do in the garden. This is something that I've done my entire life. I put my all into everybody else, and somehow, some way, things always just get taken care of for me. So you have to believe in something bigger than you in order for you to have a life like that. And I live by that. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've tongue wrestled with individuals about why I should be selling this and why I'm not selling that, and why are you giving that away? You could bottle that up and sell it, and yeah, I could, but I can give it away too. And then there's a double side of the coin, because there's certain people out there who don't want to make this stuff. They don't want to make fulvic acid. They don't want to make lactic acid bacteria. That's my market. So I can give it away and still make the money. That's the beautiful part about the blessing. You give it away and it still comes to you. No matter how you do it, you can't lose. And that's something that you're gonna hear me say all the time. And this is not arrogance, but it is just walking in my blessings, and that's knowing that I've never lost in anything that I've ever done in my entire life. I've never lost. Now that's not to say that I've won, but that's to say that I've never lost. And I never lost because I've never given up. That's just who I am. I've never given up. Even if it's something that I did when I was 20 years old, I still can take those lessons and apply them to what I'm doing today. So whatever it is that I was working on at age 20 and it may not have manifested itself, those lessons are being applied now at the age that I am now. So because I never gave up, that system is still working. You can't lose. You just can't lose. As long as you don't give up, you can't lose. Not to say you're going to win, but you can't lose. Says, thank you. You are really a fort of knowledge. I appreciate you generously sharing. Any other questions? And then we're going to get out of here. Made by Tammy Sorrell. I did grow cabbage. Yeah, Tammy Sherrill grew some cabbage. she left her children in the backyard all winter long. She didn't feed them, didn't water them or nothing, and then she come out and talking about they're not growing. Tammy Sherrill. Yep, made by Tammy Sherrill. She left her cabbage in the backyard. We planted her some cabbage down there in her Vigo garden planter. She never fertilized them. She never watered them, and they survived. They didn't grow, but they didn't die either. Thank you for your help, Mr. Keith, growing out the box. Berry's family, blueberry family. That's right. We're going to get out of here, man, because like I said, I didn't bring my lights out here. My intention was not to be out here this late. So I appreciate you guys. I thank you, and we're going to do another pop-up. We're going to try to come up with a schedule for the days that we come in. But like I said, I, none of this is possible without you guys. Growingoutthebox.com. So we're going to have some, I got this, oh man, this hexagon raised bed. It's got a special little design to it. Comes with the whole, y'all, oh man, y'all gonna love this. I'm gonna show you how to build it, and then we're gonna have it available also on growingoutthebox.com for those who don't even want to deal with it. Same thing with our squash cage. I'm working on the last little details of the squash cage. I'm gonna show you how to build it, but it's gonna be available on growingoutthebox.com. The whole raised bed layout goes straight in. It fits perfect into the 10 by, I think it's a 10 by 6 cage. Perfect. You're helping us to help ourselves and help others around us. You just you just gave the blueprint. Helping you help yourselves. Symbiotic. That's the word. Symbiotic. When two things need each other to survive, I help you, you help me. The questions you ask, if I don't have the answer, I go and research it. And a lot of times during that research, I run across things that I wasn't even aware of. That's where I get the jewels from. The jewels come from the research of the questions that you guys ask. Everything out here in this garden come from the questions that you guys ask. If you ask me about a particular plant and I go and research it and it sounds really interesting, I want to grow it. Same thing with the alfalfa. I've been using alfalfa from Tractor Supply for the past few years. Then I figured out, hey, I'm gonna try to grow it. Boom, there it is. Never have to buy any alfalfa pellets from Tractor Supply again. But I'm sharing with you guys how to use it. That's you give it away, it always comes back. You can't lose. You give it away, it always comes back. You just can't lose. That's just the laws of nature. You just can't lose. The plants do it every day. The trees have been here for hundreds of years, thousands of years. They feed themselves. Every year they put on leaves, they'll drop the leaves. They drop the leaves hit the soil. The earthworms come up and they eat the leaves. They take it back into the soil, they poop. Those exudates from the poop becomes fertilizer for that same tree that dropped the leaves. You can't lose. They gave it away and it came back. Hey man, God is good. Let me get out of here, man. Y'all got me feeling real good out here right now. So, so y'all, once again, hit those hearts over there in the corner. Hit me some 100s. Let's light this thing up. That's gonna make the algorithm jump, and the next time we come live, it'll share this thing a little more. Let me see, light it up. It's 122 people in here right now. We had, I think it was 210 in here at one point in time. Y'all light that thing up. All the little hearts on the side, make them light up real quick, and then we gonna say peace.